Okay, guys, today we're going to talk about pattern blocks and how we can use them to figure out fractions. So we're going to use this as our whole. So if I were to take these little shapes, I've got triangles, I have trapezoids, and I have some blue rhombus. So I'm going to use these shapes to help us figure out what fraction of our whole each one would represent. So we're going to start with the biggest one. We're going to start with trapezoids. So if we look at this, if I were to take my whole and I were to cover up my whole with the trapezoids, we can see that two of them cover the whole. So if we think about our fractions, we have part over whole in any fraction, right? So part over whole. So if we look at this, since we have two that fill up the entire thing, we have two as our whole, and one of these trapezoids would represent one of the two that would fill it up. So our trapezoid is going to equal 1/2 of our whole over here. Okay, now let's try another shape. So we're going to fill our whole with these blue rhombus shapes. And if we notice, 3 of them fill it up. So it takes 3 to fill up the whole shape. So my denominator would be 3. And then if we are just looking at one of them, 1 of the 3, or 1/3, would equal 1 rhombus. All right, final shape. We are going to take triangles and fill up our whole. I bet you could maybe guess how many are going to fill it up. There we go. Okay, so 6 of them fill up our whole here. I'm going to need to use a different space. I'm running out of room. So there we go. 6 fill up the entire shape, right? And so one of them would be 1 of the 6, or 1/6, right? Okay, so that's what each shape is going to equal as we go through our problems that we're going to use. So here we go. We are going to solve a mystery here. So we're going to cover shape A. So shape A is the same as the whole that we have been using. So this yellow hexagon is still going to represent our whole. So they're referring to it here as shape A. So this is our shape A. We're going to cover it with a hexagon and 3 triangles. So those are the shapes that we're going to use to cover this shape A. So now you could cover your hexagon any way you want. The trapezoid could go this way, it could go that way, it could go this way. It doesn't matter as long as you're putting it on the hexagon. Now we need 3 triangles. We're going to put them like this. Okay, so that's filling up our shape. Now we can use our pencil. I'm going to use a red marker so it stands out, but I'm going to draw the shapes that I've just created with my actual manipulative shapes. You can see now that this looks like the shape that I created. Now we're going to say what each piece is worth. So label each piece. So a trapezoid is worth 1/2, and then our triangle is worth 1/6. So if we look at this, so we've labeled them. If we use kind of a decomposition or an addition problem here, we could say that 1/2 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6, whoa, my 6 went a little crazy there, 1/6 equals 1 whole, right? Because that is our whole. So if we talk about this, 1/2 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 equals 1 whole. Okay, so now let's try another one. So our new direction says cover shape A with 2 rhombuses and 2 triangles. So remember, our shape A is still going to be this whole. Our whole is going to represent the hexagon. So 2 triangles and 2 rhombuses. So we're going to put these on here, and again, you can arrange them in any way you want. You can do them this way with the rhombuses touching. You could do it this way with the rhombuses kind of touching on the corners. Whichever way you want to do it is perfectly fine. Some people like to do it this way. I'm just going to have them touching on the sides here. So now I'm going to get my triangles in here. Okay, so there are my triangles and my rhombuses. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to remove it, and just like before, I'm going to draw with my marker here a paper version of my manipulatives. So once again, we have 1/6 as our triangle. So 1/6, 1/6, whoops. And then for my rhombuses, I have 1/3. So 1/3, 1/3. Okay, now if I were to use my addition skills here to talk about this, I have 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/6 plus 1/6. So, and that's going to equal our whole. Okay? So now let's try another one. All right, here we go. So again, we're going to start with shape A as our whole. And this time we're going to use 1 trapezoid, 1 rhombus, and 1 triangle. So we're going to use one of each of our shapes now to get to equal our whole here. So, and again, you can arrange them any way you want. I'm just going to stick them on here this way, but you could do it any way you want. It doesn't matter. As long as it fits in your hexagon hole, we're good. Okay, so that's how I'm going to use my shape. And now I'm going to draw it on here. So I'm ready to go, and whoops, kind of moved. So see how it matches my original shape. Now, remember from when we put all the trapezoids on there, 1/2 was equal to 1 trapezoid, 1/3 was equal to 1 rhombus, and 1/6 was equal to 1 triangle. So if we go from there, we can say 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/6 equals 1 whole. Okay, so that is using pattern blocks to help figure out how much of a whole each shape takes up. And then as you can see, when we add them up, they're going to equal 1 whole.